I got even more excited for Assassin's Creed Shadows thanks to the new gameplay and blog post Ubisoft just shared. So tons to go over. They, by the way, removed the work in progress mention in the bottom right, but it is worth noting that this new footage is still without the day one patch that should polish the game even more. But yeah, look at this awesome outfit combo for Naoe. So one really cool thing they highlighted are different playstyles. Naoe can, for example, slide into an enemy and deal damage and then finish them off. But even cooler, and when I saw this for the first time, I was really like, what the heck? She can vault over enemies when sprinting, and then she will jump, throw a freaking shuriken. Let's watch that again. Like, it's such an awesome move. And I did some digging, and it's actually a skill Naoe can unlock, but then you have to do it after a parry. The perk on the Anamusha headband she's wearing in this footage makes sure you can vault over enemies while sprinting, so it's way easier to trigger. Oh, and by the way, if you want to throw that shuriken while vaulting, you need the high vault skill you unlock very late into the game. Going back to the gear, she's wearing the chest that adds that knockdown damage on a slide, which is such a cool altering effect. Like, I really think that finding gear in this game will be very exciting because the perks are so impactful. And you can of course also engrave these perks on other gear at the forge in your settlement if you want, so you can use them every time. If you liked the ranged playstyles from the previous games, then you will be happy to know that it's still very powerful in Shadows. Yasuke is charging up his bow here, and thanks to perks on his gear, he can instantly kill a samurai daisho enemy that otherwise when fighting head on can take quite some time, and they're quite challenging as well. So being able to basically skip that fight is pretty sick. And there's way more to go over. Leave a like if you are excited for the game and subscribe to not miss any Assassin's Creed Shadows info. But first, the sponsor of this video, Game of Thrones King's Road, a brand new action-adventure RPG you can try for free right now for a limited time. It's set during the 4th season of the TV series, so you can explore the expansive world of Westeros, including Winterfell, King's Landing, Castle Black, and even the untamed landscapes beyond the wall. As you can see, you get to meet familiar characters, but we play someone new, the heir to House Tyre. You can customize your hero at the start and then pick one of 3 classes. You have the longsword wielding knight, the swift assassin, or the brute character, the sellsword. There are side activities to complete with your choices impacting how they will end, bounties to go after, and large battles you can do solo or with other players against the field boss dragon, the stormhorn unicorn, and way more creatures. The game offers a full PC experience with Steam features and is also available to play on mobile devices, so make sure you wishlist the game on Steam and check out the game's social media pages below to learn more. Find a special link in the video description. You can also try out the demo till March 3rd. So thanks to Netmarble for sponsoring the video, and now let's get back into it. One big change in Assassin's Creed Shadows is how stealth damage is communicated. As you maybe have already noticed, enemy health bars have these segments now, and by default, Naoe or Hidden Blade will be able to assassinate 2 of these segments. So basically, some of the weaker enemies with 2 segments will always be an insta-kill, but stronger targets with more health segments will show yellow text, indicating that you will still do damage, but not be able to insta-kill them. Well, then you can, for example, equip better gear with the Swift Shinobi robes, giving you +2 health segments removed on an air assassinate, so that you can insta-kill this same enemy. And you can, by the way, see the amount of health segments you currently remove by looking at the Hidden Blade skill in the Assassin Mastery tree, but here you can also improve the amount further by simply investing in different assassination damage nodes that are linked to it. So from skills, you can already get up to 5 segments, which seems enough for most enemies, although as you maybe already counted, not for that tough Brute Guardian who has 6, and I've also spotted some strong Samurai Daisho with 6 segments, so I'm curious if there are enemies that have even more than that. Now, you are likely already aware that if you just want to one-hit assassinate every enemy, you can just turn on the guaranteed assassination feature in the settings. But yeah, they made this whole health segment progression system, so by turning on this setting, you will be kind of cheating. So if you don't do that, then it will be handy to know that for that final assassination damage skill, you need a special requirement. So next to having the highest knowledge rank of 6, you will also need to progress further in the story, which in this case means that you have to take out all the special shinobi targets on the objective board. So where in Odyssey or Valhalla these targets only gave you some random loot and XP, in Shadows you really have to go after them if you want to get some of the final skills for your character, which is kinda cool. Yasuke, for example, has the Onslaught ability, kind of the classic overpower attack for the Naginata. I did not have a lot of ability damage here, so I hope it becomes better when you do upgrade that. But well, there's the ultimate Onslaught skill, and then this ability can no longer be blocked or parried, so becomes way more powerful. But then you do need to take out some other special targets first. We should not ignore the knowledge rank system either. When you gain a new knowledge rank, you basically unlock a brand new skill line. And you will need knowledge points in order to get one of those knowledge ranks. Well, Ubisoft now confirmed that knowledge points are mostly gained through non-combat activities, like the kata and meditation minigame I talked about in previous videos. You also get them by praying at certain shrines and by finding all the lost pages at a certain location. And now these locations can be in an enemy-filled camp, but it seems more common that you will just come across a temple where you have to find these collectibles without getting in a fight. And even though you get these knowledge points in character-specific activities, it is all shared. So when you gain a knowledge rank with Naoe, you also gain it with Yasuke and the other way around. But loot is not shared, and maybe you remember my feedback in a previous video where I said that it was sometimes hard to see if the katana you picked up was for Naoe or Yasuke, same for the trinkets you can find. Well, Ubisoft now notes that following feedback we received after the preview event for Assassin's Creed Shadows, we've also recently added Yasuke and Naoe icons on items looted in the world, so you have a better understanding of who this new item is meant for. Well, you're welcome! No, but super cool that they are listening and quickly addressing feedback like this. We also got an update on the Transmog system, so for one, you unlock it after building the forge in your hideout, so something you want to quickly do. And then you can of course rock any look you want while keeping the stats from other items. We by the way got a look at some really cool new armor sets for Yasuke. I really can't wait to see what all the legendary armor sets for both characters look like. But new in the Shadows Transmog system is that you can also mix and match weapon pieces, like pick the blade, the purple one here looks very cool. They sadly don't select it. You can switch out the handle, the guard, and the saya. So really combine different elements, and while we don't have footage of this yet, this should also be possible with other weapons in the game. Ubisoft is toning down the amount of status effects and changing them overall as well. So for example, there's no burn, only poison as a damage over time effect, and this can once again cause the enemies to throw up. There is, by the way, an ally in the game called Oniyuri who specializes in poison. So attack an enemy and then an area of effect poison cloud will appear. But here she has been upgraded, causing the enemies to fall asleep as well, just like enemies that go towards the bodies. So great for that Yasuke stealth playstyle. And I talked more about these allies, by the way, in a previous video that I will leave a link to at the end of this one. Going back to the afflictions, so if you build up the bleed effect, enemies will instantly get a big amount of damage when it triggers, and then the effect resets. There's also the dazed effect, and this causes enemies to kinda lose it, and then they will miss most of their attacks and also be unable to defend. So that seems incredibly handy against 1v1 targets. And you also have the KO effect, which mostly happens on an ability, and then the enemy is just on the ground, and then similar to Valhalla, you can kind of do a knockdown attack. They would then mostly get up after one hit, but sometimes I was also able to do multiple hits before they got up, so I'm curious when that triggers. But overall, pretty nice to make enemies an easier kill. But yeah, no fire effect in this game, at least at launch, although I know there are some fire helix sets, so I'm curious if they then have the bleeding effect perk. We will find out soon enough. Just subscribe, of course, for way more Assassin's Creed Shadows content. A like on the video would really help me out, and check out that big previous video with way more new details, including on the allies in the game, by clicking on the screen. I will speak to you very soon. Goodbye.